You know what makes me absolutely sick? WWE just let Talla, a wrestler most casual fans have barely even heard of, completely demolish two of the most respected names in professional wrestling. We're talking about Shinsuke Nakamura, the king of strong style, a former NXT champion, multiple-time Intercontinental champion, and one of the greatest wrestlers to ever come out of Japan, and Rey Fenix, the man who's been called the best high flyer in the world, a legend in AAA and the independent scene, someone fans have been begging to see get a proper push since he arrived in WWE. And WWE just fed them both to Talla like they were jobbers on main event. This isn't just bad booking, this is an insult to everyone who's been following these careers for years. And if you're not angry about this, you're not paying attention. Drop a comment right now and tell me if you think this was the most disrespectful thing WWE has done this year, because I guarantee you this conversation is going to get heated. Let me set the scene for those who might have missed this absolute car crash of a segment. SmackDown this past Friday was supposed to be a showcase for international talent. Nakamura was scheduled for a match against Rey Fenix, already a dream matchup that fans have been fantasizing about for years. The king of strong style versus one of Lucha Libre's most innovative performers? That's the kind of match that should have gotten 20 minutes and stolen the entire show. Instead, WWE gave us what can only be described as a glorified squash match with Talla standing tall over two broken bodies. The match started exactly how you'd expect: Nakamura's signature charisma, that swagger that only he possesses, combined with Fenix's breathtaking agility. For about 3 minutes, we got glimpses of what this match could have been. Fenix hit a springboard dropkick that had the crowd on their feet. Nakamura responded with those brutal knee strikes that made him famous. The chemistry was there, the crowd was invested, and then Talla's music hit. Now, before anyone jumps down my throat in the comments, yes, I understand Talla has skills. I'm not blind. The man is an impressive physical specimen, he's got a unique look, and he can work a power style. But there's a massive difference between being talented and being ready to completely obliterate two established stars in front of millions of viewers. This wasn't a scrappy underdog story. This wasn't even a shocking upset. This was WWE creative deciding that two veterans with decades of combined experience should be sacrificed to make someone else look strong, and I want you to ask yourself, at what cost? Here's a trivia question for the Wrestling Zone faithful: how many combined championship reigns do Nakamura and Fenix have across their entire careers? Drop your answer in the comments. I bet most of you will be surprised when you actually count them up. Talla stormed the ring like a bull in a china shop, and within seconds, the entire dynamic changed. What was supposed to be a technical showcase became a demolition derby. Nakamura tried to meet Talla head-on, because of course he did, that's who Nakamura is, but he got caught with a devastating clothesline that turned him inside out. And when Fenix attempted his signature speed game, trying to use his agility to outmaneuver the bigger opponent, Talla caught him midair and drove him into the canvas with a thunderous powerbomb that echoed through the arena. The crowd went silent. Not the good kind of silent where everyone's in shock at an amazing spot. This was the confused, uncomfortable silence of people watching something they didn't sign up for. You could feel the energy being sucked out of the building. And it only got worse from there. Nakamura, being the warrior he is, tried to mount a comeback. He hit his signature strikes, those stiff kicks that have put down countless opponents. But Talla just absorbed them. He stood there like the blows meant nothing, and then he unleashed absolute hell. A spinebuster to Nakamura that could be heard in the cheap seats. A gorilla press slam to Fenix that sent him crashing to the outside. This wasn't a competitive fight anymore, this was an execution. What really grinds my gears is that WWE had alternatives here. They had options. You want to build Talla as a monster? Fine. Have him interrupt a promo segment. Have him attack someone backstage. Have him go through lower card wrestlers first to establish his dominance before you feed him main event level talent. But no, WWE decided the fastest way to rocket someone to prominence was to make Shinsuke Nakamura, a man who has headlined Wrestle Kingdom, who has had classic matches with everyone from AJ Styles to Sami Zayn, look completely helpless. And Rey Fenix? This man has been floating around WWE's roster without a clear direction ever since he arrived, and fans have been screaming for him to get a proper singles run. We've seen what he can do. We've seen him tear down houses in AEW, in AAA, on the independents. He's capable of being a top-tier performer, but instead, WWE uses him as enhancement talent for someone they are clearly higher on. It's disrespectful not just to Fenix, but to everyone who's been championing his cause. Quick question for you: who do you think suffered more from this burial, Nakamura or Fenix? I want to see your takes in the comments because this is genuinely debatable. The finish of this brawl was perhaps the most insulting part. Talla hit his finisher, a devastating full Nelson slam, on Nakamura while Fenix was still recovering on the outside. Then, just to add injury to literal injury, he rolled out, grabbed Fenix, threw him back in the ring, and hit the same move on him. Two established stars, two of the same finisher, one dominant victor standing tall while the commentary team sold it like we'd just witnessed the arrival of the next Brock Lesnar. Michael Cole was losing his mind on commentary, screaming about how Talla just made a statement, how the landscape of SmackDown has changed forever, how nobody is safe. And technically, he's right, but not in the way WWE wants him to be. The statement Talla made is that WWE's creative team values short-term shock over long-term storytelling. The landscape has changed because two reliable performers just lost significant credibility in under 10 minutes. And nobody is safe because clearly, it doesn't matter how talented you are or what you've accomplished, if creative wants to use you to get someone else over, you're getting fed to the wolves. Let's talk about Nakamura for a second, because this hurts on a deeper level. This is a man who was one of the hottest free agent signings in WWE history. When he showed up in NXT, it felt like a legitimate game changer. His debut match against Sami Zayn is still talked about as one of the greatest matches in NXT history. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand, he had the respect of his peers, and he had momentum that felt unstoppable. Fast forward to now, and he's being used to make someone else look good in a throwaway segment on SmackDown. How did we get here? The problem isn't just this one segment, it's what this segment represents. It's WWE's pattern of bringing in talented wrestlers, using them to pop a rating or get a crowd reaction, and then gradually diminishing them until they are just another body on the roster. Nakamura isn't the first victim of this cycle, and he won't be the last. But watching it happen in real time, especially to someone of his caliber, is genuinely painful for longtime fans. Rey Fenix deserves his own paragraph of frustration because this man's WWE run has been nothing short of wasted potential. Here's someone who can do things in the ring that most wrestlers can only dream of. His innovations, his creativity, his willingness to put his body on the line, all of it has been criminally underutilized. Instead of building programs around him, instead of letting him showcase what makes him special, WWE keeps him in catering or uses him in segments like this where he's just there to take the loss and make someone else look better. Here's another one for the comments. If you were booking Rey Fenix right now, what would be the first storyline you'd give him? I'm genuinely curious to see your creative ideas now. I can already hear some of you typing furiously in the comments about how I'm being too harsh, how talent needs to be built up somehow, how every star has to start somewhere. And you're not wrong, every monster heel needs their coming out party. But here's the thing, there's a smart way to do it and a destructive way to do it. When WWE built Braun Strowman, they had him destroying local competitors and lower card guys before he moved up to main eventers. When they built Roman Reigns' current iteration, they took their time, let him develop, let the story breathe. This was WWE hitting the fast-forward button and hoping nobody would notice the casualties left in the wake. The real tragedy is that this segment has potentially damaged 3 careers simultaneously. Nakamura and Fenix look weak, their credibility has taken a hit that will require significant repair work. And Talla? He's now carrying the burden of being the guy who was pushed too hard, too fast. The audience will resent the push because it came at the expense of wrestlers they already cared about. It's a lose-lose-lose situation created entirely by short-sighted booking decisions. What's even more frustrating is that this brawl didn't need to happen this way. Imagine if instead, this was a competitive triple threat where Talla barely squeaked out a victory through cunning or outside interference. That would establish him as a threat while keeping everyone's credibility intact. Or imagine if Nakamura and Fenix were in the middle of their match when Talla attacked them both, but they eventually fought him off together, setting up future matches where Talla could win cleanly. There were so many storytelling possibilities that would have served everyone better. The SmackDown crowd seemed genuinely confused by the end of the segment. There were no real cheers, no real boos, just this awkward silence mixed with scattered reactions. That's not heat, that's not good heel work, that's just audience confusion. And when your audience is confused instead of invested, you've lost them. Social media immediately erupted after this segment aired, and the reaction was overwhelmingly negative. Fans were posting clips of Nakamura's classic matches, reminding everyone what he's capable of when given the opportunity. Others were sharing Rey Fenix highlights from his pre-WWE days, mourning what could have been. The consensus was clear, this was a bad decision that benefited nobody. One final question before we wrap this up. On a scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you about this booking decision? Let me know in the comments, and explain your reasoning. I'm reading every single one. This SmackDown segment represents everything that's frustrating about modern WWE booking. The talent is there, the potential is there, but the creative decisions continue to prioritize short-term shop value over long-term storytelling, and established stars continue to pay the price. Talla might have won the battle on SmackDown, but WWE creative lost the war with the fans who are tired of seeing their favorites disrespected. If you're as frustrated as I am about this whole situation, smash that like button, share this video with every wrestling fan you know, and subscribe to Wrestling Zone 1 for more unfiltered wrestling content. We're not here to make friends with WWE creators.